Good morning. We've had a lot of people ask us lately how AI is changing the skills development landscape and skills matrices landscape, especially with the introduction of generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Perplexity. The list goes on, and it's expanding all the time. So I thought I'd do a quick informal update on what we're seeing and how we're helping teams and individuals grow their capability with Pulse AI. I'll give you a quick overview. So skills are changing fast, but human skills as of 2025 are still very much needed. Everything I'll discuss and show you in this presentation is backed by empirical data, our own doctoral research, and a whole load of real-world interactions with businesses. Now, this is not meant to be a sales pitch. This is to outline, well, what is the problem statement, what we believe is the solution, and what the data is telling us. So let's jump in. In this first slide, we'll address the fact that skills gaps are widening fast. Now, we've been doing this a long time, and no matter the sector, the same 6 problems come up again and again. The first is around visibility and clarity. Most leaders can't actually see who can do what or at what level of capability or competence. They're guessing. They're relying on hearsay, or they're sifting through spreadsheets. And that makes planning or prioritizing really difficult. The next theme is around consistency and fairness. So one of the biggest problems, skills are rated unevenly. One manager's capable is another's not yet. And without a shared standard, things get messy pretty quickly. The next is in relation to alignment and roadmap. So even when development happens, it's not always linked to business goals. People are doing training, but not always the training that actually moves the needle. There's no clear path. Next is coverage and risk. We still see way too many single points of failure. There are skills only one person holds, and if they're off sick or they leave, things stop. It's just not inefficient, it's risky. Next is around privacy and trust. So skills, we accept that skills data is sensitive. People worry about being judged or exposed. Without the right level of control, you can quickly lose engagement. And without trust, the system doesn't work. Next is around access and engagement. So people want learning and development on their terms now. So mobile, real-time, in-pocket, and yet so many systems are still clunky, static, locked away in the HR cupboard. Nobody ever gets to see it, which is wrong. Development and team development is a shared responsibility. So all of this, it's what Pulse AI was designed to solve, because these aren't just operational challenges. They're the root of wasted training, lost trust, and ultimately missed potential. So let's get real about what's happening. AI adoption is exploding. 65% of knowledge workers are already using AI, but most are doing it on their own terms, using personal accounts and tools outside of their company. That's a huge risk, massive. Meanwhile, only 39% of people say they've had any kind of company-provided AI training. Yet 80% of teams are actively asking for help. They want training, they want the tools, they want the support. So there's a gap, a growing one. And it's not just a skills gap, it's a trust gap, a strategy gap, and a momentum gap. Now, what is that in terms of the impact? We're seeing misalignment, inefficiencies, duplicated effort, and real data risk, because teams are moving faster than the organizations supporting them. This is why we need to act now. We have to make these skills visible, give people the training and confidence they're asking for, and close the gap before it gets wider. That's how we stay ahead and help people grow with the technology and not fall behind it. Now, let's break it down. Pulse AI is essentially a skills matrix, but it's one that works in real time and across platforms. So what does that mean? Well, you set up your teams or projects, you define the skills that matter, and then you add your team members. From there, you can easily see each person's current capability, you can set their target capability, and you can identify the skills gaps. But it doesn't stop there. Pulse AI also gives you automated analytics. That means it can highlight key person risks, show you where to prioritize development. It can use AI to tell you which skills are emerging and really help you to take action quickly. And for the first time, it's all available on mobile and app. So your team can access the development roadmap anytime, anywhere. Pulse AI doesn't just give you insights, it gets people involved. It's meant to be simple, it's meant to engage. So managers can stay on top of their team development in real time, right from the app or the web. They can track progress, they can spot gaps, and they can take action fast. And for team members, it's all about clarity. They complete a quick self assessment, see their live development roadmap, and actually feel invested in their own growth. This is how we turn skills mapping into real engagement and momentum. Our aim is to help you create a data rich skills matrix and crucially in less than 30 minutes. So the first step is to create the organization. Start by setting up your company account at app.uplish.org. Whether it's for one team or a whole organization, it takes less than a minute. Next, you assign your teams or project leads. Each one can manage multiple skills matrices and development roadmaps, and it's all centralized. Then invite your team using share codes. They log in securely via app with biometric login, so there's no forgot password headaches. It's all very seamless. Next, you define the key roles. Pulse AI does the heavy lifting, instantly suggesting relevant skills and AI-augmented capabilities to track. Engagement with team members then happens. So team members rate themselves using our 0 to 5 capability framework. It's fast, it's consistent, and it gives you an instant organizational snapshot as well as your team or project. From there, you get dynamic heat maps, live skills data, and development roadmaps that evolve as your team improves. Now, let's look at how we measure capability. So Pulse AI uses a 0 to 5 scale designed from the ground up to be objective, it's research backed, and it's easy to use. So the 6 levels are 0. There is no skill required or desired. That individual does not need to be proficient in a certain skill. Level 1 is where we say that actually an individual does need to be proficient. They may have started their training, but they need guidance, help, support. Level 2 is where an individual is developing their capabilities. They may have completed more than 75% of the training, but they haven't done the skill long enough to evidence that they are capable, evidence that they've understood it. Level 3 is your sweet spot. So level 3 is where an individual is capable. Not only have they completed all of the training, they've done the task or skill over a sufficient period of time, and they've met a certain standard that you set. Level 4 can be split into 2. Either a subject matter expert, where someone has deep knowledge of a certain skill, or they are capable, but they have the ability to train others. And then level 5 is where someone has strategic ownership. So this is where an individual takes responsibility for the skill. They have a strategic oversight in that they can look at the actual process and determine whether the process needs to be reviewed in line with AI, robotics, automation, continuous improvement, whatever. But ultimately, they take ownership. Now, on the matrix, you'll see that scores are presented as both numbers and as percentages. In terms of how those percentages are calculated, level 0 is visual. So unlike other skills matrices out there, the 0 is very powerful because we need to ensure that an individual can reach 100% capability of what's expected of them. So 0 is intentionally excluded. So in the scenario where you have 10 skills and an individual is only meant to be proficient in 5 of them, you set the first 5 as 0. If they reach a high level of capability in the other 5, they can reach 100% capability. So we're not penalizing them because we don't need them to have that skill. Level 1 is 25%, level 2 is 50%, level 3 is 75%, and level 4 is 100%. On the matrix, 5 and 0 are visual, but 5 acts in the same way as 4. It's 100%, but the only difference is the color. Now, what we do need to be mindful of is that skills drop. So whilst our ultimate aim is to improve skills over time, we do have to accept that introduction of new regulation, changes in processes, introduction of new technology, AI, for example, or when we don't do a skill for a certain period of time, our skills capability drops. Skills rise with focused training, coaching, shared roadmaps, and shared learning. So the key here is to ensure that regular reviews and self-assessments are conducted so that people stay at the peak of their capability, and it provides really the opportunity for the team and the organization to excel. Now, one of the most common questions we get is what actually counts as a skill on the matrix? Typically, it comes down to 2 categories: hard skills. So these are task-based, like coding, data analysis, report writing, forklift. They're technical skills that are used to deliver the proposition of the business. Then there are soft skills, things like communication, conflict resolution, empathy, and adaptability. But here's the key test. If a skill meets these 4 traits, it's outcome focused, it's observable in action, it's measurable to a set standard, and we can learn it, then it's likely to be a skill that needs to be included on your matrix. A key point here is don't fall into the trap of trying to map everything. If you track every tiny skill across every person, your matrix becomes a monster and no one will maintain it. Instead, apply Pareto's principle. Start with 20% of the skills that drive 80% of the work. These are skills that deliver the most value, are the most frequent, so map those first. The goal with your skills matrix is that you can actually maintain it, one that your team trusts, uses, and grows over time. Unnecessary depth will just kill the project. So keep it focused, use Pareto's principle, map the most frequent and valuable skills first. Now, we're seeing a real shift in how skills show up in the workplace. First, there is the human capability. So these are the core skills we grow. Things like creativity, empathy, adaptability. They're more important than ever. Second are the AI-augmented skills. So tasks like data analysis or report writing are now done faster and better with AI support, but they still need human judgment, human in the loop. And third, we're seeing the rise of autonomous tools. Some skills are now fully handled by AI, things like automation, summarization, testing. The key here is on your matrix is to understand, once you've listed all of your skills, which ones could be identified for future autonomous processing with AI. The takeaway here is that skills are evolving. New ones are emerging, old ones are fading, and AI is changing the shape of what teams need. That's why your matrix has to evolve too and stay future fit for your business. Now, here we're developing something really powerful. PulseAI creates the conditions for something powerful, autonomous thinking. So let me walk you through how we get there. First, map the essential skills. Use Pareto's principle. Start with the 20% of skills that drive 80% of the work. Map those to roles and proficiency levels. Next, engage everyone. So run self-assessments across the team. You do it intuitively through PulseAI to build your baseline. This makes your capability a shared responsibility, not just something that managers own. Then grow capability. Use situational leadership models like Hershey Blanchard or Stillwell to match your support to each person's readiness. What I mean by this is the situational leadership models help you to determine what leadership style you use for individuals at certain levels of capability. So when someone has a lower level of capability, you show them, you sit with them, you train them. When someone has a higher level of capability, if you try to use that same situational method, you'll just piss them off because that's micromanaging. So you need to empower people when they are capable and leave them alone to make their decisions. And finally, challenge the status quo. So encourage continuous improvement. Question the way things have always been done. That's how teams start to fully and truly own their growth and their outcomes. Now, if we think about this, we are building capability. As we build capability, we are building autonomy. People are able to make their own decisions. Capability and autonomy create motivation. Capability, autonomy, and motivation build high-performing teams, and that's what we're aiming for. So our mission with PulseAI is simple: to democratize skills development. We believe everyone should have the opportunity to grow, learn, and see a very clear path forward. That's why we've built PulseAI, for every team member who wants to get better and be recognized for what they can do next. For every manager who needs a fair, clear way to support their team. And for every organization that believes development should be accessible, not exclusive. We spent years refining the platform. It's grounded in research, built for teams, and designed to work in the real world. But we knew from the start, if we wanted this to drive real change, it had to be affordable. So we've made a choice. We've kept the price low, and we've made it simple. PulseAI is available for just £199 per year. At £199 a year, price is no longer the barrier. And from today, neither is visibility. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation. At Unleashed and PulseAI, our mission is simple. We want to make skills visible, to make development fair, and to make growth accessible for everyone. The key takeaways: skills are changing faster than ever, in no small part to AI. Teams need visibility, not guesswork. And people want a development roadmap. They want it real time and they want it in their pocket. And if we want to close the gap, we need something that's practical, proven, and built for how teams actually work. That's what PulseAI promises to deliver. If any part of this resonates, whether you're a team member, a manager, or a leader, let's keep the conversation going. You can dive straight in at app.unleashed.org or just connect with me directly on LinkedIn. I genuinely love to hear your thoughts, your challenges, and to talk around skills development in general. Thanks again.